Right now, we are talking to Miss Alexis Bledel. Alexis, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and how are you?
I'm doing okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're good. We were just talking off the air a little bit, just kind of waking up, but you're at home, so it makes for a nice morning.
Yes, it does.
You just you gotta. Do you ever miss your alarm on those things and sleep through it and miss like a big interview tour or something?
Well, I haven't had to do it from home before. That's why I was saying it feels like maybe it's a new way of doing this. So I'm glad I woke up on time. It's nice to be here with you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And we're talking about a cool movie. The Conspirator is the movie. It's about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, which this Friday, I guess, was 146 years ago. It seems like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, actually, Friday is the exact date when it happened several years ago, and it's kind of eerie that the film's coming out on that day, actually. And we actually premiered the film in Washington, D.C. at the Ford Theater, where the assassination happened, which was also very eerie, but incredible. And we had all these so many politicians show up. It was a great turnout and a lot of fun.
That's got to be kind of. I mean, did you have to get super into the Abraham Lincoln history on this and learn about it, or was your role one that you could kind of play without not needing to know everything about old Abe?
No, yeah, my role was it was pretty specific. I didn't have to do a lot of research. The screenwriter spent many years researching the subject matter, and as did the American Film Company, who only makes films about American history, and this is their first film that they made, so they're very proud of it, and we're very responsible about the historical accuracy. So we came in and kind of relied on their research, and I was more concerned with sort of the social habits of the time for a northern woman, which is what I play, Sarah Weston, and making sure that she, everything she did was accurate, as far as customs of the time. Yeah.
Is that fun for you? I mean, to get to play a role, I mean, would you rather play a role where you have to really kind of study and get into a certain character that has different mannerisms, or would you rather play a character that's more modern and where it's kind of more normal, I should say? I don't know how to say you know what I'm getting at.
No, what you mean. I totally know what you mean. I would prefer a period piece. Actually, it gives you something specific, a specific place to start. Kind of building your character. What are those habits, and what has to be right from the beginning, and then you kind of fill in the blanks for yourself. But yeah, and the story's really about the trial that they gave Mary Surratt, who was accused of being a conspirator someone who conspired to kill Abraham Lincoln, because it was actually several people. We're always taught that it was James Wilkes Booth who shot the president, but it was really a conspiracy of several men, and they included her in the mix, and she may or may not have had anything to do with it.
What's interesting about that is, I mean, I was doing some research and watching the trailers and kind of learning about the film. I had no idea about any of that. Like, I had never even heard her name, and I had no idea there was a woman involved in the assassination at all.
I know. I mean, she was basically killed by the American government because it was a time of war, and, Lincoln was such a beloved president, and he was, killed right when the Civil War was coming to a close, and, emotions were heightened, and basically people wanted revenge. They lost their president, and they were so upset that they, took this woman and just gave her the most unconstitutional trial ever. and actually laws were made after this trial to protect people in times of war because it was so unfair. So it's a very historic, I mean, it's an incredible story. It's so fascinating, and I'd never heard it either. I was just so interested to read the script. I couldn't believe it.
When you watch the film, is it one of those where you can say, you know what, yeah, she probably deserved a little bit of what she got, or no, she didn't, or is it obvious that this was a huge mistake and good thing laws changed?
I think it's the latter. I mean, Robin Wright gives such a brilliant performance as Mary Surratt. She kind of walks that line at the beginning so that you're not sure what to think of her. And I think that's how, most of the public felt. Anyone kind of observing the trial from the outside probably had that perception of her as well. But I think as the story goes on, it becomes very clear to her attorney, played by James McAvoy, Frederick Aiken, that she probably, may have known about some of the things that were going on in her boarding house where the men were conspiring, but none of that amounted to, what she was ultimately accused of, and the trial was just incredibly unfair. But, it's also left open because nobody really knows for sure, what really went on in the boarding house. It's all a little bit of a mystery, even though, plenty of information was collected so that you can draw your own conclusions. But, nobody knows for sure. So it's interesting because it's kind of left open.
That's very cool. Somebody just texted in here, "Hey, Alexis, I love every single thing you do, especially Gilmore Girls and Tuck Everlasting. Can't wait for this new one." Is this, it's going to be a little different than Gilmore Girls and Tuck Everlasting, isn't it?
It's very different. It's actually closer to Tuck Everlasting because it's a period piece and it's has more of a serious tone. But it's very much a grown up film, and it's exciting for me because I get to be a bit serious as well, but at the same time there are a lot of great young actors in the film. There's Evan Rachel Wood, who is so good in this, and Justin Long is perfectly cast as Frederick Aiken's best friend. They're kind of play war buddies. So there's a lot for a young audience as well. I hope she enjoys it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm sure it looks good, and it's history. It's entertaining history. After this movie, The Conspirator, what else do you have going on? What else is in the works for you?
I just finished shooting a film called Violet and Daisy that Jeffrey Fletcher wrote and directed. He wrote Precious.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's a brilliant writer, of course. Everyone knows that, but he directs this film, and it's about two teenage assassins played by me and Saoirse Ronan, who's in Hannah right now.
It's her birthday today.
She's such a badass in this. It's such a fun, unique story. I almost have a hard time describing it because it's truly an original story that Jeffrey just imagined up, and I hope it's a lot of fun. I think it's going to come out in the fall or the winter, he was telling me.
Very cool. Yeah, we actually talked to her last week, and I told her she's getting typecast as an assassin now already at 17 years old.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, every film.
I mean, kind of amazing. She's an amazing young woman.
Yeah, it's cool to get in so young and then just have such a great career. What's your goal? Like, is there anything you're looking at now? You've kind of done a lot. I mean, you've done TV, you've done like this period pieces, you've done new stuff, fun stuff. What's that thing that's left out there that you're just thinking like, man, I've got to do that, soon? What is it? What is that thing you're looking for?
I mean, I think it would be really amazing to kind of be involved with the project from the ground up. So I kind of look for books that I can option, and I've been kind of collaborating on developing a film project for a while now. So it's really cool to be involved in that process because you really care about every single scene so much when you're kind of involved with putting together a project from scratch. So that could be fun.
Excellent. Well, we'll look forward to that Alexis Bledel project from the ground up. But right now, we're looking forward to The Conspirator, which opens nationwide this Friday. Alexis, thanks so much for joining us on the show, and hopefully we'll talk to you again in the future.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.